Hey, as far as I can remember, the one thing that I always wanted to be was a gangster.
Yeah?
That's just a line from Goodfellas. Welcome to Best Top 5. I'm Best Guy. Today we're going to be talking about the top 5 gangster movies. Don't confuse it with gangsta. I'm going to do a list of that sometime soon. We're talking about gangster, like the old school gangsters. Sadly, there's not that many good ones. There's a lot of them out there. There's movies like Gotti, there's Mobsters, there's Kill the Irishman. There's a whole bunch of them out there that they're okay, but they're not great. So we're going to be picking just the 5 best gangster films of all time. At number 5, we have the directorial debut of Robert De Niro, and that movie is A Bronx Tale. This is a classic film. You can tell that Robert De Niro took from the masters, from Martin Scorsese, from Francis Ford Coppola, in terms of the style and theme. The whole story in Bronx Tale is Robert De Niro plays a bus driver, and he's a father to a small kid who is being influenced by a mobster. And the kid is a bit confused. He doesn't know who to trust, whether he should trust his own father or trust the advice of the big mobster. And both of them have different points of view on life. And I wouldn't say either one is wrong, but also neither one is completely right. And it's a very different mobster film in the sense that it doesn't follow the typical, like, oh, let's whack this guy, or let's, like, oh, he's going to be sleeping with the fishes. Nothing like that. It's a very traditional, it's very traditional in the sense that it takes place in the 60s, but the themes are very different. And I like that Robert De Niro made this take place all in a small little town, so it feels like you're at home and you're meeting these characters who are very Italian and they're very traditional in their customs. For number 4, there's a movie that if you have not seen it, you should definitely watch. It's an Academy Award-winning film, and that is The Untouchables, with Kevin Costner, Sean Connery, and it also has Robert De Niro playing the role of Al Capone. This movie is exceptional. It's been parodied in movies like Naked Gun, but if you've never seen those parodies, and even if you have, just watch this movie because it works so well in terms of the editing, the cinematography, the acting. The only complaint I have with this movie is Sean Connery's accent, which he does in a lot of his films. He tends to just use his Scottish accent, even though he's not playing a Scotsman in The Untouchables. But still, it is worthy of being on this list. For number 3, we have a movie that I was conflicted of whether or not to put this as number 2 or as number 3, because both of the movies I'm going to be mentioning are kind of similar. The third movie on this list is Casino, directed by Martin Scorsese. This is a 3-hour-long gangster film, and it's worth it. There's not one boring moment in this movie. I can watch this movie hundreds of times, and I can quote so many lines. And every single time, I'm not going to ruin a specific part, but I'm just going to mention the scene where Joe Pesci goes in the desert to meet a certain group of people. That scene always gets me, even though I've seen this movie hundreds of times. It has some of the best performances and best chemistry between Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci, and it's a classic. If you haven't seen it, please do watch it. For number 2, which was originally going to be my number 3, and the only reason I'm putting it higher than Casino is because you have the main character of Ray Liotta, and that movie is Goodfellas. Goodfellas is a classic film that again, just like Casino, I can watch hundreds of times and I get bored of it. It's also pretty long. It's probably not as long as Casino. That's another reason why I put it higher on the list, because it's not as long. And again, you have great chemistry between Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci. You have a lot of good camera angles here. There's one famous vertigo shot that I really love in the diner between Robert De Niro and Ray Liotta, where Robert De Niro is sending Ray Liotta to do an assignment he thinks he may not come back from. You have also a lot of tense moments with Joe Pesci and Robert De Niro. It's one of those movies that's also very quotable. Like, how am I funny? Funny how? Do I amuse you? Like, that's my terrible Joe Pesci impersonation. Don't kill me. Don't press the X on the link. Just keep watching. Just keep watching. So for number 1, again, this was a tough choice because both of the movies that are on this trilogy I love a lot, and it was a bit tough. And that movie is The Godfather Part 2. Godfather Part 1 is a classic. It's a great movie. It has Marlon Brando in one of his best performances, and it introduced Al Pacino in a great role. But Part 2 shows the character that Al Pacino plays in full throttle. Like, we're seeing him as the leader of the Corleone family. And part 1 was pretty much like the origin of Michael Corleone. In part 2, we're seeing some of the most memorable parts in the film, which I can't mention because you have to see this movie. It's so good. And part 3, a lot of people hate. I do not hate part 3. I think it's an average movie. It's not as terrible as reputation holds it. But part 2 is definitely the best one in the trilogy, and it is the best film on this list. And those are the top 5 gangster movies of all time. I'm Best Guy. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please leave in the comments section down below. If there's a gangster movie I didn't mention, let me know and tell me which one is your favorite. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Share this video with everyone. If no one wants to watch this video, just tell them, I'm going to give you an offer you can't refuse. And they'll watch it, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, guys, until next time.